Welcome to SK Compete.
Hi friends, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to see about G20 summit at Bali. In this video you are going to see about what is G20, what are the member countries of G20 and what does G20 actually do. So G20 was formed in the year 1999 with the aim to achieve international financial stability. So what this forum is for? Related to financial stability. This UN, NATO, that are all to maintain political stability, to maintain peace in the region. This is regarding financial stability. Financial stability means, so how can a country achieve this financial stability? By allocation of resources. By right allocation of resources and keeping the good employment ratio by reducing the unemployment in the region. So to do all these, there has to be a forum to discuss how can the right allocation of resources be done during the crisis time. So to discuss what are the ways to reduce the unemployment and other things which are related to financial stability. So this is the prime reason this G20 was formed. So this was formed background of global financial crisis in the year 1997 by involving middle income countries. So this forum does not involve only developed countries. This has developing countries like India, Brazil, Indonesia. So this is the place where the leaders of various countries contribute to the methods of solving the particular crisis and coming out of it. So after the formation, it has dealt with 2007 financial crisis, not only the financial crisis. After that, till 2008, finance ministers and central bank governors were attending the meetings. After this 2007 financial crisis, from 2008, head of the states and governments, prime ministers or presidents started attending this G20 summits. That is from 2008. So while doing so, Sherpa meetings are conducted. Who is the Sherpa now? You could have heard this term. Sherpas are nothing but, you have already heard this term, they are Nepalese people. They are Nepalese people who will be guiding the mountaineers in Himalayan mountains. Those who go for trekking, all those things. These Sherpas are guiding the mountaineers in Himalayas region. So in this G20, what this Sherpas mean? They help in carrying out negotiations and building consensus among the leaders, because there will be some difference of opinion. You have to come to a conclusion regarding one particular topic. That Sherpa helps to achieve those targets. Basically, they involve in planning, negotiating the task and implementation of the task. That is also carried out by this Sherpas. They meet before the summit happens itself for negotiations and for plannings. So current Sherpa of India is in 2022 Amitabh Kant. Usually they are senior government officials or career diplomats. In this case, this is former Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant. Usually one Sherpa for each member country. So next we'll see who are the members of G20. So G20 countries, from the name, 20 countries are the members. 19 plus European Union. So European Union itself is a member of G20. Apart from that, few countries in Europe are also the member. Major economies, largest economies are members of European Union. So that is UK. Which is highlighted in orange are only the member countries. This blue thing is guest countries that need not be remembered, just for the information it's being highlighted. So UK, France, Italy, Germany. These are the 4 countries in Europe. Coming to North America, you have Canada, US, Mexico. These are the major countries. In South America, Brazil and Argentina. You can see these are the developing countries, which is also included in G20. In African region, you have only one country, that is South Africa. And Australia. In Australian continent, there is only one country, Australia. So if you see here, 7, 9, 10, 11. So the rest 8 countries are in this region. You can see major economies here is Russia, China, India. Then comes in this Arabic region, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. So Turkey is also a major economy in G20. Other small countries, Japan and South Korea. Importantly, Indonesia, now where the summit is happening. Singapore, Malaysia are all not part of this G20. Only thing in the southeast region is, only country is Indonesia. So 3 countries in North America, 2 Brazil, Argentina, UK, France, Italy, Germany, South Africa, Australia, Russia, China, India, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Japan, South Korea and Indonesia, plus European Union. These are the 20 countries of member countries of G20. So this 20 countries consist of 2/3 of world population, 60% of world population, 80% of global GDP and 3/4 of global exports. So next is 17th G20 summit was held at Bali, Indonesia recently. So what is the theme of the summit? Recover together, recover stronger. This is this theme of this year's. So now presidency of this G20 will be rotating among its members every year. So the current president is Indonesia. So the current presidency should work together with predecessor and successor. That means previous country which hosted this summit and for the next country which is going to host. So these 3 countries have to work together. These 3 countries are called Trioca. These countries have to work together to maintain the continuity of agenda. So every year for the summit there will be some agenda on priorities. For example, during COVID time, how to handle the COVID crisis was the prime agenda. So to ensure that there is continuity in what was spoken last year, these 3 countries should work together. Next, G20 has no permanent secretariat like UN, IMF and World Bank. So this agenda and work coordination is completely by G20 leaders, personal representatives, which is known as Sherpas, which we have already seen. Next, we'll see what are the priorities. Every year there will be some priorities. This year, global health architecture, sustainable energy transition, digital transformation. So why this G20 summits are all being held? So these countries discuss about certain things. So this time these 3 are taken the topmost priorities. First thing, global health architecture. So there are deliberations, discussions to make global health system more inclusive, equitable and responsive to crisis. So inclusive in the sense, even during COVID like condition, even the poorest of poor should be able to access the treatment. That is inclusive. Equitable, everyone should get access to treatments equally. Suppose, for example, take vaccines. Even the poor should be affordable to get vaccinated. If not, government should provide for some incentives. So these are the discussions happened in this year's summit and responsive to crisis like COVID. If failure to handle this crisis, it will lead to political and social instability. So there were discussion how to anticipate this kind of crisis and how to overcome that. Next is sustainable energy transition. So this usage of fossil fuels is leading to pollution, global warming, and resources are all getting exploited. So all over every country started to switch over non-fossil fuels like solar energy, wind energy, and nuclear energies. So this summit is discussing majorly on how this transition can happen. Can you immediately switch from this coal, gas, and to the solar energy and wind energy? No, because solar and wind energies are on the costlier side. Raw material is not available. So what are the technologies can be used? How come this price can be come down? How can everyone access this? So these are the various discussion which was held in the summit, and they also signed a deal which is worth $20 billion. $20 billion, that is called just, these are all important. In summits, what are all the deals getting signed? Just Energy Partnership. Indonesia has put forth this deal worth 20 billion to help countries to switch to clean energy sources. Because how come these projects are all put forth? There will be avenues for private investments in this clean energy sources. Cost can come down, more R&D work can be done. So this is about just energy partnership. Next comes digital transformation. So we have to pay from one country to other. So already this is possible, but to bring down the cost, interoperability is important, and to bring down the cross-border transaction cost. For that, cooperation between the member countries is really important. So these are the three topics which is being highlighted in this year's summit. Next, what are the major takeaways? What are all being dealt with this? First thing, condemning Russian aggression. So you know, Russia has put upon some war on Ukraine. So Russia and Ukraine war we are all well aware of, but this global platform has condemned the aggression in strongest terms for the first time. Not every member countries, most member countries strongly condemn the war in Ukraine and stressed it's causing immense human suffering, exacerbating existing fragilities in the global economy, constraining growth, increasing inflation, disrupting supply chain, heightening energy and food insecurities, and elevating financial stability risk. So this is what the leaders have declared. Finally, everyone have come to a conclusion to condemn Russian aggression in Ukraine. This is Ukraine where Russia has been controlling it. So after this Russia declared war in Ukraine, so Ukraine, you know, this is a major exporter of wheat. So you can't, if there is war happening here, this port, seaports all will be closed. So how can you export the food, wheat to other countries? It can't be possible. And next thing, after this Russia declared war on Ukraine, major economies imposed some sanctions on Russia. So Russia was also impacted. So Russia is a major exporter of, second largest exporter of natural gas and crude oil. So obviously the prices of this energy and food has gone up. So what do you mean by price increase? That is inflation. So that has increased inflation. Disrupting supply chain, that's what we talked about, right? Ports are all being closed. There is no means. If port is closed, this freight charges, the transportation charges will obviously increase. And there will be container shortages also. This in turn will raise the price of commodities, which will lead to increase in inflation. So because of this Russia-Ukraine war, this has already post-COVID, there are some fragilities in the global economy. This has further increased it, aggravated those. So next, US and Chinese leaders seek to stabilize strained relation during face-to-face talks in Bali, Indonesia. So there is already some issues going between USA and China. So they spoke for about 3 hours and Taiwan dominated the discussion. So what's happening in Taiwan? Can you see here? This is China, Taiwan. Taiwan is also known as Republic of China. It's being independently governed from the year 1949. This is China, People's Republic of China. So how China views Taiwan? China views Taiwan as a special province with independent political and economic system. But Taiwan is having different view on its relationship with mainland China because Taiwan wanted to be independently governed in terms of its economic and political relationships. And recent visit by USA speaker to Taiwan also further aggravated the tensions between USA and China. So this time they have met, the leaders have met after a very long time, and this Taiwan discussion happened for nearly 3 hours and Taiwan dominated that discussion. And next takeaway is based on economy. G20 economies agreed in their declaration to pace interest rate rises carefully to avoid spillovers. Okay, now in previous slide we were talking about inflation. Because of this port closure and some sanctions on Russia, energy and food prices have gone up. So if commodity prices are increasing, that is called as high prices are called as inflation. So to tackle that inflation, the governments, that is central banks, are bringing the interest rate hikes. Hike in interest rate. So what happens when the interest rate hikes? Your loan EMI will be increasing. Suppose you earn a lakh and you have taken a loan for which EMI amount is 25. It used to be 25k. Now after this hike, that has increased to 28k say. So the rest amount you have in hand will be less. Out of 1 lakh, previously you could have had 75,000. Now you will be left only with 72,000. So the money supply will be reducing in every hand. Few could have asked, no, we didn't take any loans, how will be affected by that? Most of the businesses could have taken loans from the government if they want to cut down the expenditure because they are paying more EMIs. Then they'll stall the expansion and there will be layoffs. As seen of Amazon, Zomato, Cisco, all are announcing layoffs, and they are not telling exactly layoffs, workforce cut. So these are all because of this rate increase. So to pace, so that should not, to stop the inflation, if we keep on increasing the interest rates, there will become a point that country might slip into recession. So that interest rate hikes has to be paced carefully to avoid any spillover effects like recession. Next, G20 leaders agreed to pursue efforts to limit the global temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius. This is being already confirmed in 2015 Paris Agreement, but again reconfirmation in this global platform will make every countries to stick to that plan of limiting the global temperature rise to 1.5 degree Celsius. Next, food security. We already spoke about this. See, this is Ukraine. So the leaders also promised to take coordinated actions to address food security changes and applauded the Black Sea Grains Initiative. So what is Black Sea Grains Initiative? Black Sea, which we were talking about Ukraine. So Black Sea, Ukraine borders this Black Sea. So these ports are all being closed because of the war. How will you transport the goods from that? For that, it has signed an agreement between Russia and Ukraine with Turkey and UN. So the transport of the commodities is being made possible from Ukraine through the neighboring countries, Turkey, Romania, all those countries, which was signed in Istanbul. So this Black Sea Grain Initiative is to tackle food security. This was signed between Russia and Ukraine with Turkey and UN for transportation of commodities from Ukraine. Next, these are the practice question. Which of the following countries are current members of Trioca G20? What is this Trioca? Trioca we have already seen. Current presidency, predecessor and successor. Which is the current presidency? Indonesia. So we have Indonesia in all four options. So next country which is going to host is India. Previous country which hosted is Italy. So this is the correct answer. This is the predecessor, this is the current, and this is the successor. For main question, what being part of G20 Trioca mean for India and developing countries? So what does it mean? It is talking about what presidency, like India's presidency, what it's going to mean for India and other developing countries. So India is assuming the presidency of G20 in the next year. So you have to talk about that. Okay. So next presidency to India. You can see Indonesian Prime Minister giving off the next presidency to India. Handed over the gavel to Indian Prime Minister as the next chair of the grouping. Next summit would be on September 9 and 10, 2023. So at the closing session of summit, Prime Minister told G20 that India's presidency will be inclusive, ambitious, decisive and action-oriented. And he underlined environment, women-led development, peace and security, economic growth, technological innovation as priorities. So now what have you seen as this year's priorities? We have seen global health architecture, clean energy transition, and one more thing, what have we seen? Digital economy. So next year during India's presidency, this all will be highlighted. Environment, women-led development, major thing, peace and security. This comes in times of war. And economic growth and technology innovation is usually, economy is usually a part of priority in every year summit. Next, technological innovation is also being part of India summit, and theme will be One Earth, One Family, One Future. This year's theme was Recover Together, Recover Stronger. Next year theme will be One Earth, One Family, One Future. Now let's see what is this is the logo and theme of India's. So can you see this highlights India's national flag, saffron and green, and you can see a lotus. What lotus generally symbolizes? This is growth amid all the challenges. This is not the first time lotus is being used in logo of this summits, which India's already it is being used in NAM. Okay. And BRICS. This lotus symbol have been used in non-alignment movement and BRICS 2021. This is 1983. And what this globe represents? India's approach to proactive approach to life on earth. Pro-planet approach to life on earth. That is in perfect harmony with nature. This is India written in Devanagari script. This is theme of next year's One Earth, One Family, One Future, which will be next year's India's theme. Okay. Now we have seen who are the member countries of G20, when was it formed, this year's summit, and next year's summit will be held at New Delhi 2023. Thank you for watching this video.